Benton and Wilson worked together through the years. Rita Benton, Tom's wife, had always wanted a portrait of her husband.
So Rita called me on the telephone from Kansas City saying, "Charles, you've been wanting to do a painting of Tom. Now's a good opportunity." And so she, in essence, commissioned me to do the portrait. He complained most of the time, and people who he has painted, I'm sure, would enjoy the fact that he complained just as they do about sitting for a portrait.
Wilson was instrumental in the first Thomas Hart Benton Day on May 12, 1962.
So just one of those accidents where someone came to talk to me about having a special day in Neosho for the Boy Scouts. I headed them towards having a special day in Neosho, Tom Benton's birthplace, of having a special day for this great artist. In fact, I said, if Michelangelo was born in Neosho, wouldn't you want to have a special day for Michelangelo? Well, Tom Benton for America is just as important as Michelangelo. And they all agreed and decided then to have a Thomas Hart Benton Day.
Wilson attended the Benton Festival and used the opportunity to unveil his Benton portrait.
It was unveiled in the community center by President Truman. And that was the first time that Tom Benton introduced me as America's great artist historian, which I have said is not correct, because I'm not a historian any more than I am a storyteller, because I love telling the story. But I really never see the story that much until the painting's finished. And then I might say, that's a good story.
In 2006, the Thomas Hart Benton Festival was initiated along with the murals of Newton County and southwest Missouri. The celebration was begun to honor Mr. Benton and his lifetime achievements. The festival provides a symposium to pass on to the younger generation an appreciation for art. As the Ozarks inspired Thomas Hart Benton and Charles Banks Wilson, now they are inspiring a new generation of students in the Ozarks. The 2008 Thomas Hart Benton Festival was held in the newly renovated Civic Auditorium in Neosho. The festival celebrated Native American Indian culture in dance, music, food, and a video highlighting Charles Banks Wilson's works. The festival organizers presented Mr. Wilson their Thomas Hart Benton Fellow Award for his lifetime achievements in preserving the culture of Native American Indians. During the festival, over 1,000 students took a mural walk. One of the newest murals, titled Flower Box City, was installed in Neosho's City Hall. This mural was painted by Anthony Benton Good. As you view the mural, you see that flower boxes anchor both sides of it. You'll see the Neosho Fish Hatchery, which is the oldest hatchery west of the Mississippi River. The water and the springs signify the City of Springs, which is another name for Neosho. Industry is highlighted, including the Pet Milk Factory, which employed many people for many years, and Rocketdyne, a Neosho company which is a supplier to NASA. As the mural progresses, it moves to the 1962 homecoming for Thomas Hart Benton, the grandfather of the mural's artist, Anthony Benton Good. Pawnee Indian dancers welcomed crowds, along with the Kansas City Southern Belle, which brought in the Benton family and President Truman and his wife Bess. These images were chosen for their historical significance to Neosho and the liveliness of color. This historical mural brings back good times and serves as a reminder of those times to future generations. Other recent murals include the work of Susan Sommer-Luarca of Springfield, Missouri, for the Wildcat Glades Conservation and Audubon Center in Joplin, which opened in September 2009. The mural serves as a backdrop for an aquarium. As you look through the aquarium, there are times when your eye is tricked as to which are the live fish versus the mural art. The bold use of color in this nature mural greatly enhances the murals of Newton County and southwest Missouri. The work of C.J. Kendi of Elkins, Arkansas, for the George Washington Carver Museum chronicles the life of Mr. Carver.
We are so very proud and pleased of the new mural that we've just had installed. Panel 1 depicts George as a little boy when he was growing up in Newton County, Missouri. The second panel of the mural shows Dr. Carver as we most recognize him today, as the very wise educator and scientist. And you can see some of his discoveries, some of the things that he worked with, such as peanut milk and ink. He created many, many uses for peanuts and sweet potatoes and soybeans. The third panel depicts several major episodes in Dr. Carver's life. For example, at the top of the panel, we see the U.S. Congress building, and that depicts Carver's 1921 testimony before the United States House of Representatives Ways and Means Committee. Also in that third panel, we see Carver's work with the local farmers and the local community. He would often go out with folks and teach them various techniques and various uses for different crops. He was very hands-on in dealing with all of the people who he could in his area. The vehicle that we see, if you look very closely, it says movable school on it. And in fact, that's what it was. It was called the Jessup Wagon, and Dr. Carver was one of the first people to promote the idea of going out into the communities, sharing with different farmers and other folks ideas to better uplift themselves.
Another mural was dedicated on December 6, 2008, on the tragic train wreck at Tipton Ford, Missouri, that happened in 1914. The tragedy brought over 5,000 people who assembled honoring the black and white citizens who died in the train collision. The memorial service was held on the square in Neosho and presided over by both black and white ministers. This mural will be housed in the Neosho United Methodist Church and was painted by Anthony Benton Good.
You know, the events of the tragedy, of course, we all shine our best when things are at their worst. Obviously, that is an example of that. And to be able to paint a scene like that with a theme in this day and age, even though it's historical in nature, it deals with the elements of race, which is a subject that is very contemporary, especially at this time now. And so I was very excited to be able to do that.
The 1962 Thomas Hart Benton celebration started due to the friendship of Benton and Charles Banks Wilson. These two artists inspired the world with great art, and the source of so much of their inspiration came from the Ozarks. And in turn, they are now inspiring a new generation in the Ozarks. This special presentation of Charles Banks Wilson from the Ozarks and beyond is a gift of Newton County, Missouri, and has been graciously underwritten by employee-owned, customer-driven Community Bank and Trust, serving southwest Missouri and southeast Kansas since 1884.